Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and I'm back with our last card for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class featuring the A Good Man stamp set. I hope you've been enjoying this month's cards as much as I've enjoyed sharing them with you. Now this week's card is going to involve a little coloring, so I'm really excited to share this week's card with you. So let's flip this around and get to some crafting. So here's our last card. As you can see, I've done a little bit of coloring on here, and I've mentioned in previous videos that this is a great stamp set for doing coloring, whether you're using watercolor pencils like on this card, or Stampin' Blends, or whatever you love to use when you're coloring. So what you're going to need, or what should be left from your class supplies, should look a little something like this. You'll have about a half a piece of old olive cardstock, so just a half piece of 8.5 by 11. Okay, you'll have one little piece of Night of Navy, and then you'll have 3 pieces of Very Vanilla. This one is about a quarter size of one of those 8.5 by 11 sheets, and then these are about half, a little less, right? This one's actually been cut out with the stitched rectangles dies, and you'll also have a piece of the denim ribbon. All right, now to start us off, I'm just gonna fold that card base in half. Get that nice crisp, clean fold. Here we go. And then you're gonna wanna grab that largest piece of Very Vanilla. So this is gonna go on the inside of the card. So I just stamped a little heart on the inside just to switch it up and bring a little bit of that Night of Navy onto the inside of the card as well. You can add in another phrase if you want. I'm going to stick with the little heart. Not necessarily the most manly image, you know, but with Father's Day around the corner, right? It's always nice to show a little bit of love. Even if it means we're not being super manly and masculine. All right, there we go. I'm going to take this same image and just stamp it randomly on that piece of Night of Navy. And so just switching up which direction you stamped the heart in. I'm not too worried about this part here because that's going to get covered up by our die cut piece. So just over and over, just gently tap that, in my case, stamped spot onto your stamp. If you've got a full-size Night of Navy, then you're doing it the other way and tapping the heart onto the ink pad. I'm just going to do a couple more here. And one more right up there. Here we go. All right. I'm going to grab that die cut piece now. There we go. And put that right in the center. Just watching out for my Night of Navy smudges there. And you can pick whichever image you like. I like the one of him lounging, relaxing in the chair. There we go. And again, so just get that nice and inked up. And that's going to go a little more towards the top. So we've got room for our phrase underneath. You can always stamp the phrase first and then add the image. Either way is completely up to you. And so I'm just grabbing the "you're the best." There's a few phrases that'll fit under here. The "for you" would fit under there. Even the it might be a little tight, but I bet you could still even fit in the "I grew up loved." You could stamp in "relax your way," "thanks to you." There's a few different phrases that'll fit right under there. There we go. And as I said, we're going to do a little bit of coloring today. So I'm using the both sets of watercolor pencils. If I can find, oops, there we go. So there's my Night of Navy. So in the second batch of watercolor pencils, that's where you're going to find Night of Navy. I'm just going to add a little few darker shades, and then just with a bit of a circular motion, just get that t-shirt colored in here. There we go. All right. And then in the first set, that's where you're going to find the Old Olive. So going with the colors from our cardstock. It's nice neutral colors. Right, the navy is actually considered a neutral color, so it goes nicely in there. All right, now I'm going to grab the Early Espresso from that same, there we go, first batch, right, just to fill in a couple of the stripes on the chair. You could go with a lighter shade of blue if you want. I think the neutral color of the brown works really nicely with what we've got going here. There we go. Now you can leave it as is, like I did on the first one, or if you want to soften up those lines a little bit, just grab your blender pen. And just rub that over. And you'll see that just softens those coloring lines. So you don't really notice them as much. So it really blends in nicely. All right, so with that done, let's set that off to the side and pull our other pieces in. All right, so remember that large piece we had from before. So this is going to go on the inside of your card base. You want to grab your tape runner, liquid glue, whatever it is your go-to adhesive is. Mine is the Stamp and Seal. There we go. Now, before we add these two pieces on, then actually just lay them out. And I'm going to grab that piece of denim ribbon. Sadly, these guys are retiring. All right, now, so once you've got these lined up and you've got your piece of denim ribbon, now, since I'm using tape runner, since I'm using Stamp and Seal, this works okay. If you're using liquid glue, this may not be the best option, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place the tape runner on the cardstock where I want my ribbon to go. There we go, so it gets that little bit of overlap. Also helps hold it together. And then I'm going to put a little bit on the back at the edges, again, so I can fold that over. There we go. And once I've got that, then I can add in my adhesive on the back. And that's going to go right onto the outside of that card base. There we go. And then that die cut piece that she colored is going to get stuck on with a few dimensionals. And you just want to peel the paper off the back there. Just like that. There we go. And that's going to go right there in the center. There we go. Now, as in other classes, I do have another project to show you. And since the A Good Man is retired, I'm sharing you one of my new favorite masculine stamp sets from the current annual catalog, the He's All That stamp set. So this is, you know, I've actually been looking for something that's been a little more kind of versatile. And so when I saw this one, I just fell in love. And so this, I've used the one of the stamps and coordinating dies from the He's All That bundle. And then I've used a little bit of embossing in the background. So this is the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder. And then this is the Splatter folder from the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder combo. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this week's cards. Next week, I'll be back to kick off our very last Stamp Jammies class before the summer with the Little Ladybug stamp set. This is such a cute stamp set, and I've been having fun crafting with it already, so I can't wait to share it with you guys starting next week. So I hope you'll come back and check that out. In the meantime, you can check out my other projects on social at Inspiration Cards on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any questions about Stampin' Up! Or scrapbooking, card making, or paper crafting in general, you can drop a comment below, or you can send me an email at inspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.